Good morning, good morning, good morning. I want to welcome you to another segment of the Jermaine Brown Sports Talk Show. Today is Sunday, June the 14th, 2026. It's approaching around 10:30 in the morning. But I want to congratulate the JV New York Knickerbockers. The JV New York Knickerbockers. You just mean the New York Knickerbockers. No. I meant the JV New York Knickerbockers. Why are you calling them the JV New York Knickerbockers, Jermaine? Because that's what the media called them, saying that the Eastern Conference was the JV conference in the NBA, like if the Western Conference was so superior. And so the Knicks came out of the JV conference, so that automatically means that the Knicks is a JV team. Can you be any more insulting? There's no such thing as a JV conference in a professional league. I don't care if it's the NFL, NHL, Major League Baseball, or in the NBA. And I'm talking about the professional leagues here in America. There's no such thing as no JV conference. If you come out of a conference, you are worthy of being there. And you're worthy of being the representative of said conference. And you're going to hear some people say, oh, well, the Knicks got lucky. Folks, you don't win a championship without some luck. You also got to be good. And the Knicks were both. They were good and they were lucky. So both things can be true. And both things are true. This Knicks team deserved to be champions. They've earned it. Give them their respect. And this Becky Hammond and Candace Parker, two women who claims to know the game of basketball, talking about you can't win with a small point guard. And I'm glad what Isaiah Thomas said. And Isaiah Thomas put Jalen Brunson in the same class as him, saying we had to do it differently than what the analytics say and what the people who the talking heads said. Because, everybody feels, you got to be 6'4" and above to win. And he did mention Stephen Curry, because Curry is 6'3". But like he said, Curry was a shooting guard, so more of a scoring guard, so it was a little different. But he says to be a point guard, he put him and Jalen Brunson in the same sentence. He basically compared Jalen Brunson to himself. And that is the highest compliment you can get, because Isaiah Thomas is a legend and one of the top point guards in the history of the game. And he basically just told you Jalen Brunson is one of them too. And Jalen Brunson's an outright killer. And see, the finals will be, whoever comes out of the Western Conference is basically going to win the finals, and the finals is really the Western Conference finals. The Knicks had a lot to say differently. And see, let's keep it real. If the Western Conference was so superior, well, let's look at, now San Antonio came out of the Western Conference, and this is not to disparage them, to knock them. They earned their way to the finals. And again, I'll come out with another video later on San Antonio. And I believe they have a bright future, and the media is overreacted to San Antonio. They're just upset because the Knicks actually was beating them. That's why they're reacting the way they're reacting. But San Antonio beat up a hobbled Minnesota team who was missing one of their key players in Dante DiVincenzo and had Anthony Edwards playing on one leg. They beat him. I mean, come on. Minnesota could not compete with that. And then they beat up on a hobbled OKC team who was missing two of their key contributors. So, but you can't fault San Antonio. San Antonio did what they were supposed to do. I'm not faulting them. But let's not act like they beat up on world beaters. They didn't. And even if they did, there's an old saying that styles make fights, matchups. The Spurs matched up well against Minnesota in the regular season and in the postseason. They matched up well against OKC in the regular season and in the postseason. But they did not match up well against the Knicks in the regular season and the postseason. And the NBA owes the Knicks a big debt of gratitude. They should get down and kiss their feet and thank them. Because here's why. The Knicks saved the NBA. And what do I mean by save the NBA? The NBA has this silly tournament, and to me it's silly. But they chose to institute this tournament about 3-4 years ago called the NBA Cup in the middle of a season. And nobody ever really took that thing serious. The Lakers was the first winner of it, then Milwaukee, and now the Knicks. So there's about 3 seasons. Okay? But the prior 2 winners, the Lakers and Milwaukee, got bounced in the first round the years that they won. And nobody was taking the NBA Cup serious. But the Knicks won the NBA Cup this year in November. And I love something James Dolan said. We're not hanging that banner. LA chose to hang the banner, which I'm surprised at because you're LA. You only hang up championship banners and the NBA Cup ain't. Nah, come on. That wasn't the goal. But they hung up a banner, and Milwaukee hung up a banner. And James Dolan said, no, we're not doing that. We're going to hang up the real banner. But by the Knicks winning the NBA Cup against the same team, San Antonio, then winning the NBA Finals against that same team, San Antonio, they have now validated that NBA Cup. Because now, if you are a team next year and moving forward, and you go into the NBA Cup tournament, you might want to take it serious because that could be a prelude to what could happen in June. So now you might want to take it serious. So to me, the NBA should be thankful because now they made the NBA Cup a lot more meaningful than it was, say, prior to this year. Because even when the Knicks won the NBA Cup, I was like, oh, it's the NBA Cup. Come on. That's not the real cup. That's not, not the real tournament. That's not the real playoffs. That's, it's just a little tournament. But it's not, come on, it's in the middle of the season. Can't take it serious. But now you got to take it serious. And again, my hat's off to San Antonio. They played a hell of a series. And truthfully, this series could have just as easily gone the other way. Could have just as easily gone the other way, but it didn't. And again, I'll get to San Antonio in another video of why they lost. But this is about the New York Knickerbockers because they've earned every bit of this championship and they will be remembered forever. And my hat goes off to Jalen Brunson. What you did was legendary. You put yourself in the same conversation as a Michael Jordan, having a closeout game on the road, scoring over 45 or more points. Think about that. The last person to complete that feat is Michael Jordan. And think about it this too. The Knicks, 9 straight road victories. Since Game 3 in Atlanta, they haven't lost. They only lost 1 game on the road in this postseason. That's outright remarkable. Closed out San Antonio. They closed out every series on the road. Now, this game was close, unlike the previous against Atlanta. Well, they closed out Atlanta on the road. That was a blowout. They closed out Philly on the road. That was a blowout. They closed out the Cavs on the road. That was a blowout. Now, they didn't blow out San Antonio on the road, but they beat them, winning 9 straight road games. Winning 9 straight road games. That's a team of destiny. And people are going to talk about, San Antonio lost this series in Game 4. No, they didn't. The series was really lost in the first 2 games. Because again, you put it in their minds that when they won the Western Conference Finals, that they was going to win the finals, that the finals was a foregone conclusion. And they acted as such. And it took them a while to understand, no, it's not. It was just a step to the last step. And when they blew their first 2 games at home, that really was a series. Because now you're just swimming upstream the rest of the way. And now you told the Knicks they can beat you anytime they want. So the Knicks didn't have to blow you out. They could just slow walk you down. And actually, that's more impressive. Because they took your soul. They took your heart. What you saw last night, the Knicks did not play well. They did not shoot well. But the Spurs just didn't have it last night because they were still affected by Game 4 when the Knicks came back from a 29-point second-half deficit to beat them. They never recovered from that. You cannot. Mentally, you're just not going to recover from those type of devastating defeats. Not this time of the year. You can do that in the regular season. Not this time of the year. The Knicks owned San Antonio in the regular season, and they owned them in the postseason. And San Antonio, they'll be good. They'll be back. I don't know when they'll get back, but they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. But this is about the New York Knickerbockers and what they've accomplished. And here's a newsflash, folks. Here's a newsflash. They can get back here again next year. I'm not saying they'll win it next year. But they can very well get back here next year. They're set up to do so. Because why? They have, in my opinion, if not the best player, the second best player in all of the Eastern Conference. Now, this is going to quickly bring me to the Lakers and Luka Doncic. If I'm Luka Doncic, I'm going to Lakers management, and I'm telling them, under no uncertain terms, do you bring back LeBron James? If you bring back LeBron James, I want out. Because why? Jalen Brunson was in that same draft as Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic went 4th overall in that draft? Jalen Brunson went in the 2nd round. Jalen Brunson's had a much better career right now than Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is much more talented, but this is not about talent. It's about leadership, determination, drive, will. He has it in spades that Luka right now doesn't have it. Guys run through walls for Jalen Brunson, that little man. And I said it before in another video, and I'll say it again. The worst mistake Dallas made was not getting rid of Luka, because Luka was out of shape, and then they got to pay that man $300 million. If he's out of shape, before you pay him the $300 million, where are you going to think he's going to be after you pay him the $300 million? The worst mistake Dallas made was letting Jalen Brunson walk, because you got nothing in return for him. And he really was, he's the glue. He's the one who really makes this work. Look what he did with this Knicks team. This Knicks team is not special, and they don't have no mega superstar like no Kevin Durant or LeBron James or Giannis Antetokounmpo or anybody like that. Jalen Brunson's not going to go down as all-time GOAT or great or the greatest player in basketball or who's the face of the NBA. He's not going to be that, but he doesn't have to be. He's NBA champion. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. And he's going to be a legend. He is not going to be. He is a legend. Excuse me. And he will soon be a Hall of Famer once he retires. First ballot. He has minted himself. Because when you went in the greatest city in all of the United States, and that's New York, because when, like they say, you win in New York, there's no better place to win than in New York. I think Mark Messier was the one who made that statement. There's no worse place to lose than in New York, but there's no better place to win than in New York. And Messier won 4 cups, 5 cups with the Edmonton Oilers. And he knows what it was like to win in New York when he went with the Rangers. Derek Jeter meant it with the Yankees. Eli Manning meant it with the Giants. Now it's Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson is on that stage. And again, I'm not a Knicks fan, but I enjoy watching this Knicks team. They are fun to root for. Because why? They did it the right way. They did it as a team. No mega superstars. They didn't go out and get mercenaries. Now, I want to ask KD, because KD said back when he came to the Nets, and I'm a Nets fan, that the Knicks are not cool. Let me ask you this, KD. Let me ask you this. Are the Knicks not cool now? That could have been you celebrating. But you chose to go to the Nets. You made the wrong choice again. That's your history, making bad decisions. You remind me of an excellent co-pilot. You just can't be the pilot, the captain. But good co-pilot, that's what you are. And that's okay. Just be willing to accept that. Jalen Brunson is the captain. El Capitan. A champion. The head man. The big boss. The big cheese. The killer. He is a throwback to Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. Because he chose to take on the challenge of coming to New York and changing the face of the city, changing the face of the NBA. The NBA will never be the same after this. Because why? Even though I know the NBA wanted the series to go longer, because think about this, folks. Think about this. You had some great finals. LeBron James with the Miami Heat. Especially in 2014, I mean, what the Spurs did to the Heat, I mean, it was unimaginable. Okay? You had LeBron James going back home to Cleveland, a beautiful story, and winning a title down 3-1. Great storylines, folks. And guess what? The Knicks had the highest ratings, or I said, not just the Knicks, this finals had the highest ratings since 1998. Since 1998. Who was the last team to have, the last dance there with Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls against Utah. So maybe a lot of people wanted to see Utah, but, I don't know. Just, But maybe it's because everybody wanted to see the last ride there with Michael Jordan. But think about it. All those other years where you had great finals, compelling finals, and yet the ratings was not the same as it was since 1998. And when you talk about iconic brands in basketball, it was always the Lakers and the Celtics. Now you have to add the Knicks into that conversation as an iconic brand. Jalen Brunson, you just helped make it an iconic brand. Because I'm going to tell you right now, folks, I don't think this rodeo is done for the Knicks. I think the Knicks have a good shot of not only getting back, but winning it again. At least, even if they don't win next year, they're going to be around for a while. This is beautiful to watch. I want to thank you for watching this segment of the Jermaine Brown Sports Talk Show. Give me a thumbs up, if you like it. If you don't like it, hey, let me know if you like it or don't like it. Leave a comment, subscribe. And I'll have more videos coming out, and especially I'm going to make another video about the San Antonio Spurs because I really want to concentrate a lot on them because I think there was a lot of overreaction and lies about them and what happened in this series. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.